Om. 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 Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwara, Gurureva Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Chinmayam Vyapiyat Sarvam Trailokyam Sacharacharam Tatpadam Darshitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. As I mentioned when I walked in, you lucky first batch, right? You'll be remembered forever. Having come to such a university, as all of you expressed your views, your ideas, and also some of your doubts. This particular university, as you have already started seeing, is giving you something in a very unique manner. First of all, to have this type of Gurukula, I don't think so it's available in any university, right? Because you don't see this kind of Gurukula system in most universities of the world, as you all mentioned yourselves. The doubt that arises in our mind is that besides our normal commercial subjects, and we need to study those by which we can earn our, if nothing much, at least our basic living. There are others who study universities or go to colleges because they do want that education by which they attain greater monetary success. There are some who want that besides just monetary success, there should be a sense of satisfaction in what we do with our life. There should be a purpose in our life. Life should be more meaningful than just earning money and living a lavish life. One cannot deny the importance of artha. But if artha itself becomes the goal, then many great things of life that we can achieve, we don't. And today, if you go around the world, education system that exists today mostly is only to earn an income. Just a couple of years ago, I met a professor from Harvard University, young man, very young man. And he had come to teach or take a special training for a child who was going through certain difficulties in learning. So he was there. So I was having a discussion. That time we were conceiving of this university. So we were just sitting and discussing with each other. And he said something so interesting. He said, my father was a professor or is still a professor in Harvard. And he says, people came to university to further their knowledge, not to get a job. If they want a job, go develop skills. No? You don't have to do an MBA or a PhD just for a job. That's what he was talking about, that his father was saying. The universities was meant to discover, to do research, to develop. Now today we have made a requirement that if you want any job, you at least need a master's. Is it really necessary? Yeah. Most of your grandparents were very successful. I'm not saying parents. No? Grandparents were successful in spite of not getting a degree. So what is it that we want this higher level of studies for? If it is only to just get a job, or is it to perform well in a job? Both different things, no? To just get a job, you get a degree from a very good university, chances are that people will come and give you a placement right away, coming to your university. And that is also needed in a university. But is that why we have taken up higher studies? At the same time, is it to do a job well, a profession well, a field of knowledge? I express myself well, that I want to get greater knowledge. So both these things are there. No? And third is that I develop myself in such a way that in every experience of my life, I learn, I grow, and as I grow, I learn further and make my life a constant progress towards higher and greater knowledge, higher and greater self-development, and higher and greater knowledge in my life. Depends why we want to gain this. Otherwise, I remember that famous talk, and it's on the internet, I'm sure you'll go and hear, that when Bill Gates went back to his university, he was a dropout from his university. And Warren Buffett said that if you really want to be successful, leave the university right now. He's talking about Harvard, okay? Because all the three major, highly successful people in the recent history, Warren Buffett, Steve Jobs, Bill Gates, some of them maybe completed a degree, some of them were drop out from school, but nobody went and did some very high degree. And yet, they were one of the richest people, and at the same time, as far as Steve Jobs is concerned, one of the most innovative people in this world. So what is that we should gain from education? Is it that we are really here only to get a degree? Or are we here only to get an information? Or are we here to get knowledge? Or are we here to develop ourselves with this knowledge, that whatever interaction we have with the world, we have a sense of satisfaction, a sense of fulfillment, and therefore a sense of success. In our international school, children come there because besides getting whatever normal modern education is, they get value-based education. And these little children sometimes come running up and say, Swamiji, 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 can I ask you a question? And sometimes I think they're going to ask me a very profound question. So I tell them, okay, ask me a question. And one of these children asked me a very profound question. Swamiji, who is the happiest man in this world? Do you know the answer? Do you know the answer? Who's the happiest man in this world? None of you said that it is you, right? But I told the child very confidently, that is me. So this child, of course, didn't know Sanskrit. So I said, I'm the happiest man in the world. And he flatly looked at my face and said, no. He said, no. So I said, how do you say I'm not the happiest man in the world? He said, no, you can't be the happiest man in the world. Fifth standard student. You can't be happiest. I said, why do you say so? Look at my name. My name is itself Swarupa Ananda, whose nature is Ananda bliss. So I'm the happiest man in the world. So he said, no. So I said, okay, since you know the answer, tell me. And he said, the happiest man in the world is one who discovered the matchbox. I also started wondering, like you, how do you know which book says this, which, history our school teacher is teaching them? So I said, how do you say that he was the happiest man in the world? He said, because when he discovered the matchbox, it was a striking success. Yeah? If we want that striking success in our life, that will give us happiness. That will give us a sense of satisfaction. Not that there are no difficulties, no challenges, etc. But that gives you a sense of fulfillment. That type of success, if we need, for that we need, is that knowledge that develops us. Because life situations will not always be exactly what the book has told you. In fact, most of the books don't tell us. They just give us some formulas. How do we develop ourselves with education in such a way that when we find challenging situations, when we find different situations, you don't try to Google it at that time. You're able at that moment to respond to that job, respond to that situation, respond to that action in the right manner. Then, in most of the experience of our life, we will attain success. Then there is a sure guarantee of success, not a degree. Is it not? Therefore, when Gurudev conceived of education institutions such as even the schools and some colleges, what he conceived of, that education by which we develop ourselves in such a way that we can meet life's challenges, life situations, and become not only successful but positive contributors of society. And I could see that you all have already imbibed that vision and you were talking about it. But one doubt is still there in some people's mind, as was expressed. Why this knowledge of Sanskrit? Yeah. Why this Indic studies? Yeah. This comes to our mind. We can't even imagine the wealth of knowledge that has been in the past. It is our sheer arrogance that we think that we are modern, we are advanced, and we have better knowledge than the people of the past. Because as human beings, we destroy everything that we have achieved and we reinvent the wheel so that we can patent it, copyright it, and have our name as inventors. But how many years, how many generations lose out on it? The rich heritage of knowledge that has existed in the world. I'm not saying only in India. India is one of those great countries which had such sources of knowledge, and at that time that sources of knowledge were in Sanskrit language. Besides destroying the books or burning the libraries or destroying the people who had this knowledge, the worst thing is that when you lose a language, you've not only lost a great heritage of knowledge, that lose a language, and you've lost a rich heritage of knowledge that we could tap upon and develop from there. Otherwise, we keep on reinventing the wheel. One is that we've lost so much of our knowledge, we are losing it day in, and each day we are losing one dialect or two dialects in the world. How many languages we are losing? And with each language that is lost, not only a rich heritage of knowledge is lost, a culture is lost, but something that most people do not realize, that what each and every one of us loses when one language in the world is lost. It is not only a rich collection of information and knowledge is lost, but we lose an entire culture. Even that we may not value today. What is a culture? No? A methodology or a way of living is lost. But most important is we lose a certain way of thinking. We lose certain capacity of knowing. Now, for example, I'll give you. I will ask the help of our French brother here. In English, if you tell a girl you are very beautiful, best how will you tell it? Kevin, one of you speak English. One of the boys, just get up and say in English that you are very beautiful. Just say it. I'm not telling you to tell any girl. Just imagine a girl is in front of you and just say you are very beautiful. Just say it. You are very beautiful. Any girl fascinated by such a statement? Yeah? You are very beautiful. This is how most boys will tell a girl, isn't it? In English. Some might be a little bit more articulate and say, you are very beautiful. That's the best you can do in English. You tell me in French, how would you say to a girl that you are beautiful? Just stand up and face them and just tell them. We'll say that. Even though he said it also very casually, yeah? Have you seen the sheer music in those words in French? Yeah. Can English say the same thing what a French person can say? Tell me. Now, how will you say in Sanskrit? Or how would Kalidas say in Sanskrit? Yeah? Sanskrit scholar? See how many words he has to tell a girl that how beautiful, how gentle, how kind. You can go and say Sundari, Bhamini, what not can you say, is it not? And that'll give you different facets of her beauty. No? Now in Ramayan, when Surpanakha comes there, even Ramchandraji tells her, hey Sundari. Yeah? He says, hey Sundari. Now, Sundari means beautiful, and it has got a certain, you know, flirtatious connotation. Hey Sundari. In English, you're very beautiful. Yeah. But hey Sundari, that you are very beautiful. But when he meets Shabri, and Shabri is an old lady, wrinkled. Yeah. And Ramchandra said, hey Bhamini. See the difference between Sundari and Bhavani, this very sound of the word, even if you do not understand the meaning and connotation. Yeah. Hey Sundari, hey Bhamini. See this, the sound itself? Can you see the difference or no? Yeah. So next time a guy tells you, hey Sundari, yeah. Or you say, hey Bhamini. Yeah. Or does he say Sumukhi or he says Sulochini? There is a can you imagine how many ways of telling a woman about her physical beauty or her radiating beauty from within her? See, Sundari means you look beautiful. Bhamini means you're radiating beauty. Now tell me in English, you say, hey girl, you're radiating your beauty. She said, what am I, radiator? In English, it will not mean anything. You get the point? What I'm trying to tell you is that lose a language, not only you've lost a vocabulary, you've lost a way of thinking. Yeah? You lost the depth of a certain emotion. That is the depth that a language has. And therefore, it also trains the neurological patterns in your brains to flicker in a particular manner. So what I'm trying to tell you is the importance of a language. Not only what knowledge source is there in the language, but the way that language communicates, the way your mind develops learning that language. When we even speak Sanskrit, we are translating it from our English language into Sanskrit. And you might do very good at translation. Like I learned French. Every time I spoke French, I would translate from English into French. And even now, many of you speak English, but you're actually translating it from Gujarati, Tamil, and therefore you can tell from the English that this person comes from Gujarat, this person comes from Punjab, this person comes from France, because your English language has the grammar of your language which you think. So how do you formulate your language? How do you communicate? And that's not enough. Your communication is what you project your thoughts. And eventually, your success in the world is what thoughts you project in the world outside. Not how much information you have. It's not even about language, it's what thoughts you project in the world outside will determine your success. So, amazing is this particular language, Sanskrit, in which we find so many different scientists. And you wonder, how did they discover all these wonderful sources of knowledge where they don't seem to have the technology what we have today? But they seem to have even a greater technology, a better technology than what we have today, because certain feats that they have accomplished, whose evidence we are still seeing today, we still cannot do it with our modern equipments. So you can see that how did we develop such great scientists? And many of them were not just from universities also. But because that language not only had so much source of preceded knowledge, but also gave you a capacity to discover, to expand your knowledge, to expand your abilities, your talents, etc. The biggest joke is apple falls on everybody's head. Everybody does not become a Newton, does he? Yeah. Most people will say, why it fell on my head? Other will eat it up. Yeah. But they don't discover gravity, do they? But an apple had to fall on Newton's head to discover gravity. But once you know Sanskrit language, you will recognize that how Shankaracharya, commenting on Taittiriya Upanishad, on just one word of the Veda, describes everything about gravity, and that gravity not only affects our physical body balance, but also affects our pranas. And it's only when we went out into space we recognize that without gravity, how your physiological functions, your pranas go haywire. And how do you keep that? How gravity keeps your pranas also grounded. Now, can you imagine so much knowledge is available? As children, if we were just taught Bhaja Govindam of Shankaracharya, yeah, where just in 3 quarter verses, he has completely given us the Artha Shastra. Now, I don't have time to tell you that right now. But one day when I come and speak to you on wealth management, which is also a very important subject in commerce, which is a very important subject in our life, how verses that we used to teach children, Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Govindam Bhaja Mudamate. And these are devotional worship, worship God, worship God, worship God. But in midst of that, what is wealth? How to acquire wealth? What is the attitude in wealth? Which wealth is beneficial? Which wealth is harmful? Yeah. What we should do with our wealth means how do we manage our wealth? Everything is there in those verses that were given to children. We don't have to read volumes, but these formulas are given. So that is the rich heritage we have in every possible subject. And even if we do not have information on this subject, the moment we start learning a language, not only we discover such wonderful treasures of knowledge which are already available, but we discover within ourselves certain abilities, certain qualities within ourselves. And that is the true richness within you. That is the Lakshmi, I would say, Guna Lakshmi, that is present in each and every one of you. So now you'll understand the importance why, along with your normal subjects, study of Sanskrit and various other knowledge traditions are given to you. Western universities are always introducing different knowledge traditions to add a certain dimension to their studies. And we've got a very rich heritage in our Sanskrit literature. And if you can study it while you are here, in this atmosphere where you're allowed to develop, not only in the various fields of knowledge that you have come to Study, are you going to excel? But whatever you take up in life, you will excel. That is the confidence. So I wish you all the best, and keep doing well. Make the best of this studies here. You're a small batch of students, which means you get the maximum love, maximum care, maximum teaching, maximum food also. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.